We have two numbers here, and we want to find out which one is larger than the other. You might already intuitively know which one's bigger, but let's say that you don't. How might we go about finding this out? One thing we can do is get that many things and match them up to see which one still has some left over, and that is the larger number. If I turn around, you will see that I have 12 pigs and 21 chickens right here.
So let's match them up.
Okay, that took a bit, but I finally got them nicely lined up in a line here, so we can count them off. Got signs? Let's do this. So here's one, here's two, three, four, five, six, oh, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the end of our pegs because we only have 12 pegs. 13, 14, 15, 16. I need more signs. 17, 18, oh, 19, 20, and finally 21 chickens. As you can see here, there's more chickens than there are pigs. We have 21 chickens and 12 pigs. That answers our question from before. 21 is the larger number over 12. Using a line of numbers like this, we can create something called a number line. Counting up from 0 and so on, you might notice that it looks a lot like a ruler, and it serves a similar purpose. Except in this case, instead of measuring the lengths of things, we are measuring the size of the numbers directly. Going back to our original problem, which number is larger, 12 or 21? Well, if we look here, we can find that 12 is right here on the number line. Let's just plot that real quick. And 21 is over here on the number line. If we zoom out, you can see that the distance between 12 and 0 is much shorter than the distance between 21 and 0. So 21 is the larger number. Here we have two decimal numbers, 2.3 and 17.95. Let's plot one number on the number line at a time. In this case, to put down 2.3, we first look at the portion of the number before the decimal point, which is 2, and then the number after, which is 3, or moreover, it's just 0.3 or 3/10. So if we go over on our line, we go at 2, and then we're going to go 3/10 more than 2. And there we are, 2.3, which lands us in between 2 and 3. But not because it's 2.3, it's because 2.3 is a bit more than 2 and a bit less than 3. Let's do the same thing now with the number 17.95. First, we're going to go to 17, and then we're going to go 95 hundredths this time, because 17.95 is 17 and 95 hundredths. And that lands us right about here. You might notice that it looks like it's right on top of 18, but it is just a little bit more to the left. 17.95 is really close to 18. Now you can see, if you didn't already realize before, 2.3 is a lot smaller than 17.95. 17.95 is the larger number. One thing the number line isn't very good at doing, however, is comparing very small and very large numbers. Like for instance, if we had 0.001, that is 1/1000th, and 1000 exactly, and tried to compare those, you might notice that the scale is kind of annoying here. The number line isn't very good at comparing very large and very small numbers, though. For instance, here is 0.001, or 1/1000th, alongside 1000 exactly. Because 1000 is so large, we are now counting by 50s each time instead of 1, and we lose a lot of precision when doing this comparison. 0.001 looks like it's right on top of the number 0, when it should be slightly larger. But since it's so much smaller than 1000, it really doesn't make much of a difference. Just before we move on, I want to mention that just like we counted by 50s before on our number line, we can also count by other amounts of numbers and even change the number that we start at. For example, here is 16 and 32 plotted on a number line that goes up by threes. And here they are on a number line that goes up by threes still, but starts with the number 15. Changing how much you go up by can help you put larger numbers on the number line more easily, but you have to be sure that you remember to space them out accordingly. 16 is a third of the way between 15 and 18, so we put it there on the number line. 32 is 2/3 of the way between 30 and 33, so we put it there on the number line. Also, changing the number that you start at might seem weird, as you can no longer compare numbers by seeing how long they are starting at 0, but it does help with measuring the distance between numbers, and you can still tell which one's larger because it's on the right of the other one on the number line.
You might already know that if two numbers are the same, we put an equal sign in between them to say that they are equal. But what if they're not equal? What symbol will we put in between 12 and 21 to say that 21 is larger than 12? We formally write that a number is smaller or larger than another number using greater than and less than symbols. But how do we know which one to use when? If you look very closely, the larger end of the symbol points to the larger number, while the thin point at the end points to the smaller number. Another way to think of it is as a crocodile. The crocodile wants to eat the larger number, so it faces towards it to bite at it. We currently don't have any crocodiles in Minecraft, so we'll just use Ravagers instead to demonstrate. Here I have a Ravager. As you can see, I have him looking towards the larger number because he wants to eat the thing that there's more of. If we were to swap the two numbers around, you can see that the Ravager would now need to turn right around to bite at the 21 this time. And if you look at it, the Ravager actually forms kind of that same sort of arrow shape too. So it's a good way to remember which one is the greater than or the less than one. When the Ravager is facing left, this number is greater, or quote unquote greater than the other. When the Ravager is facing right, on the other hand, the second number is greater and the first number is smaller or less than the other. Remember, you always read things from left to right. So you wouldn't read this as 4 is greater than 3. No, we read things left to right. 3 is less than 4. If you want to say 4 is greater than 3, you would write it like this. And even though it's a true statement here that 3 is less than 4, the information and how we would read this out is 4 is greater than 3 in this case. And if you just see one of these symbols in the wild and don't know which one to call it, if it's the less than or the greater than sign, one trick you can do is to imagine numbers on the side of it and try to think of which situation would work out. For instance, if we had the numbers 1 and 10, 1 is our smaller number and 10 is the larger one, which number would we put on which side? Will we put the 1 on the left side and the 10 on the right side? Or the 10 on the left side and the 1 on the right side? Obviously, the 1 would go on the left side and the 10 would go on the right side because the crocodile mouth is going to eat at the 10. So we read it as 1 is less than 10 instead of 10 is greater than 1. Here we have the greater than sign. So it's fighting to the left. If we had a number here, that would have to be a larger number than the one on the right. Today we learned that we can use a number line to compare two numbers. We can change where the number line starts and how much we count up by on it. A number further right than another number on the number line is greater than it, and a number further left is less than a number to the right of it. If two numbers are equal, then we use the equal sign. We use the greater than symbol to denote when the number left of it is larger than the number on the right, and we use a less than symbol when the number to the left of it is smaller than the number to the right. Remember, the crocodile or ravager's mouth points towards the larger number. Now that that's out of the way, let's do some practice. Here are some sample questions. Feel free to pause the video and try solving them on your own.
This first one here is really easy. We've got 4 and we've got 6. And you can see 4 and 6 are just right here and here. So that's our plotting. That's 4 on the number line and 6 on the number line. And then, remember, the crocodile bites towards the larger number. 6 is higher up on the number line. So we're going to put a greater than sign. Next up, 2.9 and 9.2. This one's a little harder, but not by much. 2.9 is going to be between 2 and 3. Remember, we look at the whole number part and then the 9/10ths here. So 2, 9/10ths after, it's going to be very slightly smaller than 3. So if right on the center of 3 was 3, it's going to be like right here, a little to the left. 9.2, on the other hand, is going to have a whole number part of 9 and 2/10ths, let's say about here. It's about a fifth of the way to the next number, 10. Going back here, we saw that 2.9 is there on the number line. 9.2 is there. 9.2 is further than 2.9. So it's the bigger number. And the crocodile bites towards it. 42.7 and 35. 35 is pretty simple right here, smack dab in the middle of 35. 42.7 on the other hand is way down here, and it's going to be between 42 and 43. 42.7 is a bit more than halfway between 42 and 43. Halfway between them would be 42.5. So I'm going to put this right about, let's say here, about 0.7 of the way in between them. And it doesn't have to be exact. The closer you can get, the better, but as long as you get the general idea of where it's at. And 42.7 is the larger number in this case. Another greater than sign. 42.7 is greater than 35. Okay, 0.3 and 0.68. 0.3 is right here. 0.68 is going to be between 0.6 and 0.7. How, like, where in between them? It's going to be very close to the 0.7. I'm going to go here. Because 0.68, that's only 0.02 away from 0.7. And 0.68 was further on the line. It gets a greater than sign. Next up, 40 and 37. 40 is right there. This is a simple one. You can just put a dot right on top of it. And 37, since we're going up by 5s, each of them are 5 apart. So 37 is going to be between 35 and 40. And it's going to be about halfway, because remember, 35, 40, we're going up by 5s. And 37 is 2 more than 35. It's going to be about halfway. 2 is about half than 5. It's a little less, but I'm going to put it right there. A little less than halfway. Sorry guys, I forgot to put in the video originally that 40 is greater than 37. Of course we know 40 is greater than 37. It's farther on the number line. Lastly, 40.8 and 40.8. 40.8 is going to be between 40 and 45. It's going to be a little more than 40. But remember, we're going up by fives. So
If this was 40 and 41, we would put it very close to 41. But since it's 40 and 45, 0.1 is only about 1 into these 5, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So I'm going to put it right about there. 40.8 is just a little bit after. And our second number is 40.8 again. I'll just put it right on top of the other dot. It doesn't really matter. You can just put one dot. And that will be our equal sign because 40.8 and 40.8 are the same number. Yep. Take some time to double check your answers. Now that we've learned how to compare two decimal numbers, I wonder how my pigs and chickens are doing.